Hello, in this video we will check out the new release of the Ubuntu 22.04 LTS inside VirtualBox. So let's begin. First thing, we need to download the Ubuntu image. We can do that by going to the official Ubuntu site and then going to Get Ubuntu. Now, because we would like to install Ubuntu inside the VirtualBox, we will need to get ISO image of Ubuntu, and then we should click on Ubuntu desktop. Now we should have something like this, which says Ubuntu 22.04 LTS, and we can click download. This will take us to our download page, and now our download should start. Inside VirtualBox Manager, we should be on the latest release, and in the time of this recording, that's 6.1.32. Now let's create a new virtual machine by clicking on New, selecting the type Linux, and the version we should have Ubuntu 64-bit. If you don't have the 64-bit variants inside VirtualBox, that's a BIOS virtualization option that should be selected. So please check is in your BIOS or UEFI, select that option. We will call this virtual machine Ubuntu 22.04 and everything default. Next. Now the size of RAM memory that should be allocated to the virtual machine, I will set that to 8 gigs. Hard disk, for this purpose, because I would just like to try this virtual machine, I would create a new disk and new VirtualBox disk image that is dynamically allocated and size of 15 gigabytes. The file location, nothing special. Now, before we start installing our Ubuntu inside this virtual machine that we just created, I would like to speed the process a bit by increasing the hardware capability of this virtual machine. And I can do that by going to the VirtualBox virtual machine settings, and then in system, in the processor tab, I would increase the number of cores that virtual machine can use. And in display, also, I will increase the amount of virtual memory and enable 3D acceleration. Then also, I would like for this virtual machine to appear that is connected into the local LAN. So I would change this network adapter to bridge adapter as well. And I think this is basically a basic configuration. And now we can install our virtual machine. We would first like to accept these changes by simply pressing OK. And now we can simply start our virtual machine, because a virtual machine can detect that there is no operating system inside our virtual hard disk. It will ask us to select setup disk. We would say, okay, this is not what we want, we would like the other one. And here we can simply select our Ubuntu, or simply add the new image that you have had downloaded. I already did that, so here I see my image that is Ubuntu 22.04, and I will simply click on choose. Now that image is selected, and I will just start installation. For this, I will click on capture, and now I have control inside my virtual machine. For this, I would just select try or install Ubuntu. For this, I will not cover the other options, just select this. And now we are inside our Ubuntu install. So as you can see, our resolution isn't correct, but we will fix then that later. Now we can just try to, for example, now we can just try Ubuntu or install Ubuntu. I will go straight to install because this is VirtualBox and I cannot break anything. So let's install Ubuntu. Default language, click on continue. Normal install, download updates while installing Ubuntu, and I will select third-party software or no. I will just select download updates while installing Ubuntu. Then click on continue. For this, because I am on a virtual machine, so I don't have to worry about this. If you are installing on the real hardware, please be careful of this. I will just erase disk and install Ubuntu. So this is fine for me. And I will click install next. Install now, sorry. Now we have a confirmation of all changes that we will make onto our virtual hard drive. So we are just creating two partitions. Click on continue. And now we have personal setup. We will just skip over, add your username and your password, and that's it. Now click on connect, continue. And now let's wait for installation to be finished because we are on SSD and we assigned many cores to this virtual machine, this installation shouldn't take long. So if you want to speed installation up, assign more cores, and then you can maybe later on, if you need, reduce the number of cores. But if you want to speed installation, do it something like this. And the installation is finished, so now we can just click on restart now. This will restart our VM, and we will be now prompted to remove installation media and then press OK. And so because we used automatically feature of VirtualBox to detect that we didn't have installed OS, and we pressed insert startup disk. In this point we just need to press enter and everything will be done automatically. So press enter and that's it. Now we have new boot up where we are now booting from not installation media but installed image of Ubuntu on our virtual hard drive. So let's wait for this boot up process to end, and now we have our login screen with our username that we created. So click on that user and input the password you added. And this is it. Now let's quickly go over this startup wizard by clicking on skip. Now I will not connect any account, so I'm skipping this. I would like to help Ubuntu improve, and because of that I will send system info to Canonical regarding the crashes and stuff. So I would leave this as is and click next. Privacy will be set to I will disable these location services, so privacy should be okay. Next, and here I can install some additional software which I use for sure, but at any time I can install that by simply searching through software applications, so I will do that later. At this point I will just click done, and here we are. We are inside our Ubuntu 22.04 inside VirtualBox, but if you can see, our resolution is fixed and a bit smaller, so we should fix that. We can do this by multiple ways, but the best way is to install VirtualBox additional extras by simply going to devices and inserting this virtual CD drive. With this, you are installing additional programs that are making your virtual machine working better with your host OS. So let's insert this image, and after some time the virtual disk should appear inside our VirtualBox. Now we can right click on it and click new window, and here we are. Now we can try two things. We can simply try run software, but in some cases this will not work. And if this doesn't work, you can do next thing. Simply right click on the empty space inside this folder and open terminal. I know this is a bit scary, but we should do just one simple command. Here we should first just update and upgrade our system. So let's type next. Let's just type sudo apt update and type enter. Input your password. That is the same password with which you are logged in, and wait for this command to finish. Now let's just type next command, which is sudo apt upgrade, and we can see that there is nothing new for us to update with, so that is good. Now we just need to run this VirtualBox additional extras. So we can do that by simply typing sudo dot backslash and the name of the file we would like to run. In our case, that is this file. So VirtualBox Linux Additions. So let's just start to type this here, VirtualBox Linux Additions, and press enter. With this, we will install additional kernel modules, and our virtual machine will work smoother with our hostess. And now we just have this error, and basically we just need to install these additional packages in order for these kernel modules to be built. So nothing serious. You just select this, press copy, and now it's simple. Again, sudo command sudo apt install and paste. Press enter, press yes. And now we should be able to rerun our command VirtualBox Linux Additions, and now we should get complete installation without any errors. And if you see just these images without, let's say, any warnings and errors, this is okay. But your changes will not take effect until your system is restarted. So let's simply type boot and wait once again for our VirtualBox to boot. Log with your credentials once again. And what is this? Again, we have our small window, but this is okay. Now just simply drag your window, maybe resize it, and your resolution should be updated. Now we have our full resolution of our screen. Even furthermore, if we just type to view and select the full screen mode, and again select to switch, now we are in the full screen mode. And if I should record something like this, if there is no bar here, you couldn't tell that I'm recording a VM. So this is the one way to fix your resolutions by installing these VirtualBox Additions. And I think this is a good thing, because in the additions you are installing a couple of things regarding your resolution. You're installing your shared folder and stuff like that. So I think this is a very mandatory thing to do. Now let's just check how. Now let's just play around with our virtual machine by simply opening the terminal, and I would like to see the memory usage, and that can be done with command htop. Htop is not installed, but Ubuntu is kind enough to apply me with command with which I can install it. So I can simply just select this command and copy to the bottom and press enter, input my password, and now we have htop. So from fresh install and fresh boot, we are using somewhat around 714 megabytes of RAM, which is, I think, for GNOME shell fine. So let's do additional thing that I like to do, that is install some kind of informational program inside the terminal. I know two of them. One is ScreenFetch and one is NeoFetch. I would install both of them and then see which one is better for me for this release. So I will type sudo apt install, and now I will type ScreenFetch, and space, and then NeoFetch, and press enter. Input password correctly and press yes. Now let's open one additional terminal, and in one let's type ScreenFetch, and in the other one let's type NeoFetch. And at this point this looks nicer to me, so I will just add the ScreenFetch to default startup script for the terminal. In this case, that is bashrc, And if you'd like to use the terminal, I can simply edit that script by typing sudo gedit bash rc. This will open the text editor with admin privileges, and I will open bash rc file. Input your password. Input your password correctly. And here we are. Now I will not play around with any of this. That is maybe for some other video. I will just scroll to the bottom of this file, last line, type new line, and here I will just type screen fetch. Save the file, close the file, clear, close the terminal, and open terminal once again. And now I have this appear every time. That's all, and see you in the next video. Take care.